Morning, everybody. You're catching me at breakfast on my second full day in Finland. I'm staying in my hotel, which is called the Forenom Hotel. It's at the railway station. In a little town city called Tikkurila, which is in the Vantaa region, just outside Helsinki. This is my review of the hotel room. I didn't do it on the day that I arrived. I was so tired. I've been so busy since I got here, so it's a very much lived in. And I think that's the best way, actually, because I'll get this out of the way to start with. If you come into this hotel for what, more than one night stay over at the airport, which is a 15-minute train ride away, I don't think I'm going to do it again. It's reasonably priced for Finland, or for anywhere really now. But I don't think it's designed for more than one night, as you'll see when I'm showing you around. Anyway, also on the theme of living in Finland when you're not on finished wages, because it's very expensive, but so is everywhere. But if you don't want to spend all of your hard-earned cash giving it to some food emporium, then there is ways to do it. And breakfast is probably the cheapest meal of the day for me. It's porridge with cherries on, which are gorgeous. A smoothie, that was about €2 or €3 for the box. That was a couple of euros. The tea bags I bought from home, and the milk the same as I use at home. These are the cherries. They're gorgeous. Give you a nice lift on the morning. And there's my porridge. But as you can see already, this is one of the main problems with the place. There's literally no storage. This is a room for one person. There are rooms for two, and I've got some photographs from one of the rooms for two, which I'll share online. And it's a little bit bigger. And for a week it might be a bit easier. But the problem is, there's a hotel nearby called the Sokos. It's a big chain in Finland, and I've stayed there before, and it was lovely. It was like staying in the 1970s. We used to joke it was like was it Norman Bates hotel? But it wasn't really, but it was a bit of a 1970s vibe going on to it. Anyway, apparently it's been closed, they've renovated it, and it's really cool. It was pretty cool anyway. The rooms were big, they had fantastic views. They had air conditioning that worked. There was somewhere to sit when your friends and family came. So yeah, I'm here through choice, and I don't want to be too critical, because if you were changing flights in Helsinki on your way to Australia, and you arrived at 9 o'clock at night, and you were leaving at 8 o'clock next morning, and you weren't going to unpack your bag, then this is perfect. And I'm sure they make a huge amount of money on that premise. But if you're coming for a holiday, I don't know, I would say don't stay here, although it's 100 yards from the railway station, so it's got 3 supermarkets within 100 yards. It's got all the shops you need. It's a great base for exploring this locality. Anyway, I'm going to have my breakfast, and then I'll get on with the room view. But I think I did mention at the Sokos, that's the second fan they provided when I asked to change rooms. And it's about 8 o'clock, and I've already got the first fan going. You get about 4 hours from 2 a.m. to about 6 a.m. when it's literally not like a sauna. And I'm very disappointed in that, because I am one of the biggest fans of Finland. It's a cool place, it's a smart place, it's technologically advanced, they're thorough, they dependable, reliable. It's a great country, and if you get a chance, come and visit it. But this hotel, they put absolutely, and I'm not going to swear, either none or the crappiest air conditioning in the world. It's garbage, and it's not an argument to say, it's cold for 9 months a year. It's cold for 9 months a year in the UK, but the hotels, Premier Inns, Travel Lodges, the tribe that I stayed at Manchester Airport, they all have first class air conditioning. Anyhow, I might be a bit less grumpy when I've finished this little lot. See you in a minute. I soaked that smoothie glass because it really sticks to the sides. Anyhow, let's get on. Microwave. It's not going to take long. This is like the only area you could entertain your guests in the corridor. Fire escape, lifts down to the railway station or the road. Hat stand, coat stand I should say, coat hangers, bathroom. But I mean, who gives a toss about a coffee machine when you can't sleep? Reasonably well equipped for a. I mean, you're having a laugh, aren't you? You're going to cook in here. It's about 35 degrees already. Two of these. Kettle. As I say, it's lived in, so you can see what it's like. This is the second fan we got when we rang up, and actually got my wife to ring up from England because I was out. This is your storage for your case and your shoes, etc. I did put in a special request when I came, because I'd been before. This is the storage for your clothes. This is where I've put all the plastic plants. They insult me, the plastic plants. All the problem with plastic in the world, and companies still insist on buying plastic plants. Get that out. I think I might take that today. An iron. Cares less about that. And 2 plates, 2 bowls, 2 cups, 2 mugs, 2 knives and forks. I don't suppose they're expecting you to have more than 2 people. Cupboard. You need to rejig the cupboard every time you use it, otherwise it doesn't work. These things are okay for about 30 seconds. The cans and bottles that we're collecting to put in the Finnish recycling scheme, they do provide you with plenty of trash bags. It's a bit of a mess. We were going to go last night. You empty your own trash here. There's like a chute. I'll film that when we go. We're going to empty that today. The fridge. Massive fridge, really. A little 2 hob that we couldn't possibly use because we're storing everything here. Put them back. God, I'm boiling. I'm sweating like mad. And this is a finish, something you don't see in England, and I think it's a brilliant idea, but you can't use it because they've put the frying pan in it and the plastic thing. So when you wash pots, you literally put your pots wet into there and they drip dry. It's pretty cool. A drying cupboard, is it? I think it's a finished thing. So, I mean, seriously, I haven't got a thermometer, should have really, but I bet it's 30 degrees now in here. And as I say, it wasn't the first thing I complained about. We rang up and said, look, it is warm. It was like 27 yesterday. It's not going to be that warm for the rest of the week. It's going to be about 25, 26. Right, let me show you this. So I had to unplug this because I was strangling myself in bed. And I was fearful of ripping the thing off the wall. But have you ever, and again, as I say, it's shattering my ideals of Finland because it's such a switched on sort of a place. So that's where they put the bed when you arrive. And what you get when you arrive is that. And I mean, seriously, where did they get these pillows from? So you get your pillow like folded over like that. It's just garbage. And you get that, which I was going to put the head on that. God knows what's on there. E. coli and Ebola, and that's what you get. Well, I'm not a fussy sleeper, but I like a bit of support in my neck, so if you take that away, and I know some people could sleep with that, but I can't. So this is the best thing. I rung up and I was going to go to the store and buy 2 pillows, leave them with my family when I left. Like €30 each was the cheapest. I'm not a massive ringer and complainer, but I thought, oh, I'll ring. Anyway, they were really nice, and they said because it's late at night, there's no one on site, and they gave me the access code to get into another room. That's the other thing, you don't get a key, you don't see anybody, you get an access code, which I think is quite common now. But as I say, this was like this, the lamp went down there, and you're supposed to sleep here with this gap behind your head. It's insane. So I unplugged that, wrapped that up, I moved the bed back to the wall and sleep up against the pillows. It's just hot. It's not brilliant, is it? Telly, but there's nothing much on. I don't know if you've ever watched Finnish TV. Most of it's English TV, which I don't watch anyway, so, and I can't find the radio station on it. So yeah, so I rung them, they were really nice. I said, I've had this back injury and foot injury and I need to sleep supported, I need 2 pillows. So she says, okay, go to this room, I'll give you the access for 15 minutes and take the pillows, which was absolutely brilliant. And I thought, wow, that is amazing customer service, 10 out of 10. So the next day you think, oh, well, let's try it. But I've had a bad experience with this company before. I had got COVID 2 years ago, And I didn't take out their insurance. I know you should take out their insurance, but I didn't. And I didn't book it through booking.com. And this isn't sponsored by booking.com. But I'll never book anything other than through booking.com again. Because you are in effect paying the insurance, aren't you? But I rung up at that time and said, I'm really sorry, this is like £500 or whatever it was. I made a mistake, I should have took the insurance, but I've got COVID. Can I have a refund? Can I book it? Can I have a credit note? Nothing. No. He actually said, you should have took out our insurance. Thank you. Is there anything else I can help you with today? So I was really, really in two minds whether to stay here because of that. But anyway, so the other day with the pillows, brilliant, first class. The other thing I did was say, can I have a room high up, please? Because it's outside the train station. There's 6 floors. And I'm a bit of a nerd, and I might want to make some videos of the train station. Now, the thing is, that what I've learned since I'm on the 4th floor, I'll show you the view. The 6th floor is the upgraded rooms. Nobody said, sorry to my special request, sorry, you can't have a room with a view of the railway station because, there you go guys, because they're the upgraded rooms. Would you like an upgraded room? And chances are, I would have said yes. Oh, by the way, these are minging, absolutely covered in dust. Okay. Look at that, I don't know if you can see it. Absolutely minging. Anyway, so they didn't say, yes, you can have a room on the 6th floor. Give me this crap. So that's as much. So for a week, that's my view. For a week. It's a good job. I'm not here alone because you could get very, very depressed in a room like this. Anyway, it's turning into a bit of a saga. So the first bit, go get the pillows, brilliant. The second bit, so can we do something about the air conditioning? No. But, so my wife said, can you get him another fan? Which isn't what I asked, but, so yes. So now I've got 2 fans circulating 30 degrees. Is it possible to open these windows? No, it's against health and safety. What load of bollocks. They open, it's just bollocks, isn't it? Because you could put a safety catch on. And so for a week, we did try with a spoon, but it didn't work. So yeah, for a week. I'm very, very, very disappointed because it's hot, it's uncomfortable. Look at the state of the windows outside. It's hot, it's uncomfortable. I have to move the bed every night. The pillows are a joke. And this isn't, and I can't remember what I paid. I'll look it up and let you know down below, but it's still not cheap. I'll have to sit down, boiling. And I know these are all first world problems and I should be grateful, and I'm having a fantastic holiday. But your hotel is part of your holiday, isn't it? So I said on the night I arrived, it was like a 0 out of 10. And I think it still is. And if you like to stay in sad little rooms like this when you go on holiday, drab, dreary, with no fresh air, with no view, with no one on hand to help you, with no air conditioning in the 30-degree summer heat, or if they have got air conditioning, it's pathetic. Then this is the hotel for you, and I recommend that you come and you come and stay. But for me, I'll never stay here again. I know exactly where I'll stay, and I'll just save up a little bit more. It's called the Sokos, the original Sokos at Tikkurila. Original Sokos Vanta it's called, if you're looking, and it's nice, it's okay, it's a million miles better than this. So I hope I haven't been too negative. I am having an absolutely amazing holiday, and this is just this is the only quiet hour of the day that I'm going to have, so I have no complaints. I'm going to drink my tea, have a coffee, and head out for the day, and I'll head back to this place at about 4 for a sleep, and then about 9 for a sleep, and that's all it's fit for. There's nowhere to sit with you, friends or anything. It's yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. And I will, whether it's before this or after this, do some outside shots and shots of the lift and show you the proximity to the railway station, which is amazing. But I think this area, before I go, is so full of apartments. Next time I might also explore Airbnbs and things like that, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of apartments around here now. So you could probably get an entire apartment for not a lot more than I paid for this. So that's another option if you don't want to stay at a hotel. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Ciao. And just to say, now the video's too much information, but now the video's switched off. I'm getting undressed to my underwear because it's the only way to bear it in this room after 8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, see you soon. Hi guys, so remember I said you need to clear your own trash here. Everything is extra, by the way, so if you want your room cleaning or you want clean towels, you have to pay extra. I thought they might have asked for more money for the extra pillows, but they didn't. So anyway, obviously I'm here for 7 nights, so it's going to need plenty of trash. There's plenty of bags, so we'll put some clean bags in. So yeah, there we go. I've never stayed in a hostel, but I guess the place is just like one up from a hostel. It's very much do it yourself. It's a bit like Ryanair of hotels, isn't it? Everything's extra and everything's basic. So we'll take these, get rid of these. I just remembered I didn't show you the bathroom. Got fans on like number 2 now. Each. So yeah, it's okay. It's small. Maybe I won't even say maybe a metre wide. Maybe just about a metre wide at its widest part. You get one bath towel, one, and again, if I want them changing, I have to pay. So I'll be using the same towel for a week. And the shower's nice actually, small, just fits me in, and a mat for the floor. And look at the state of me. Anyhow, let's go take the trash. You have to put the code in to get into the garbage for some strange reason. There you go, guys. Right, get our stuff and we'll head out for the day. I think what I have realised is I think the rooms I'm in are single rooms, which is why I don't get a view, why I don't get a window that opens. I think if you want a better room, like a double room, that's what these might be. And the best rooms are the rooms upstairs. Anyhow, get back to you soon. My hotel. My room, somewhere up there. So, I just showed you the front of the hotel. This is the back of the hotel. This is how you get in. The little supermarket's just there. And the railway station's up there. And you put the code in there. And you select your floor. And as long as you remember the code, it feels really weird because you go straight from street level, straight from the railway station, directly into your hotel. Anyhow, there you go, guys. I need to lie down. It's been quite a day. Hi guys, just a quick mid-holiday update on my hotel. Just a few more thoughts, really. It's and I always like to be fair. So Scandinavia and Finland are going through one of the longest prolonged heat waves in history. It's been over 30 degrees every day since I got here on Wednesday. It's now Sunday. There's no sign of that letting up. So wherever you go, in people's homes or places like that, it's going to be hot. The trains are fabulous, the trams fabulous, the shopping centres. Funnily enough, out in that corridor, it must be 10 degrees cooler than the room, maybe 15 degrees cooler. So the air conditioning in the building works, just not in the rooms. But for context, I've just looked it up. I paid €625 for this for 7 nights. That comes in at £546. It's about £78 a night, so it is cheap. That hotel I was telling you about, I think it's about £120 a night to stay there. I also mentioned the travel lodge. I don't stay in travel lodges. I realised afterwards, I just, the ones I have stayed in the past have been awful. And I decided never to stay in them again. They're just, I find them, they're just a bit crummy. They're usually full of drunks and noisy people and things under the beds, and they're just, the ones I've stayed in. Premier Inns, on the other hand, which you could get for £78 per night in the UK, are a million miles better than this. You don't have this silly single room, double room business, you know. You'd get a double bed, tea and coffee making facilities, you've got a restaurant on site, you've got staff on site, the beds are fantastic, pillars are fantastic, it's a pleasure to stay in them, and I can't say this about here. But it is what it is. It's at the very budget end of accommodation. In Finland, you go any lower than this and you're staying in an actual shared hostel. And I said I never stayed in a hostel. I have. I've stayed in youth hostels in the past, which were just marginally more uncomfortable than this, but an absolute fraction of the price of this. So that was it really, just to let you know how much it was. Place is getting a bit of a tip. The towels are disgusting, but I've washed them yesterday, but they're taking a while to dry. I'm not paying for a towel. It's what a crap idea that is. So I'll wash them again if they start to smell again. You can get dry on a wet towel, can't you, when you've had a shower? I'm surprised in the heat in this room they didn't dry. The clothes are drying in 4 or 5 hours. I just hang them up on the door corner, and they're dry in no time. So yeah, and it is getting a bit untidy. I've found the washing up liquid and the dishcloths after 3 days, so I've given everything a wipe down. The floor's covered in bits. It does say you've got to leave the place clean. You've got to kind of leave it as you found it. I'm not quite sure how you do that without a sweeping brush. In common to have these kind of floors, which is a bit annoying because the person up there is dragging furniture around every night just as I'm not falling asleep, and then every morning before I wake up we have about 5 minutes of about 5 or 6 pieces of so I'm not getting a lot of sleep either, what with the heat, and then being impromptu woken at 6:30 with the bed being dragged across the floor and these wooden chairs being dragged across the floor. But if it's anything like here, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they have to move the bed to get comfortable. So yeah, I can't sweep the floor. Don't know what I'm supposed to do. Get down on my hands and knees with a cloth and clean it. Anyway, and the other thing I'll show you when I go out, the entrance is on level 3, which is the railway station, the shopping centre. From level 3 upwards, you need to put your code in the lift. It's the same code that you use for your room, so if there's anyone in the lift with you, they can see what room you're staying in. So you tend to, on level 3, just wait till the lift comes that you can have on your own, and then you come up to your room. The shopping centre's okay. It's absolutely rammed with security guys, which I think gives an idea it can be a bit tasty on occasions in that railway station stroke shopping centre. However, there is an entrance on level 1, a public entrance, and it's just a bit seedy, to be honest. The doors are broken. I've followed an incredibly drunk young guy in the other night, sort of barged past, nearly fell over as he went into the lift, so I gave way. Then I had to give way to the guy that was chasing him, and then on another occasion I gave way to 2 other guys I wanted to get into a lift with, and then there was another guy who couldn't even use the lift and wanted us to get into the lift because they're coming up from ground to the shopping centre, and this other guy couldn't even use the lift, wanted us to get in with the lift with him. But there's people you don't want to share lifts with in there, so you've to be prepared to step back and let users of the shopping centre get into your lift, and definitely don't ever put your code in on level 1 or level 3 for that matter with someone else in the lift, because you're giving them your room number, you're giving them your room code, but it won't take a great deal to find out what room you were in, I suppose. So yeah, that's another. I'm quite happy, but if you were wary of your safety and you were travelling on your own, you maybe won't want to come back at 9 o'clock on a Friday night. Although it is a safe country, is Finland, but in town centres and stuff, it has its fair share of drunks and other social problems that we have in other countries. So yeah, that was it. For what I've paid, I guess it's okay in Finland because they don't have Premier Inns, do they? But for what I've paid, I could have had a week in a Premier Inn, which would be a more pleasant experience. Anyway, I'll show you the access situation again when I go out. So I'll show you where this brings us out. There's two places it brings us out. So we'll let my assistant do the code for me. So this is the first place that brings you out, which is actually into the shopping centre. And the other place it brings you out is down there on the ground floor, which takes you out the building, and there's also a supermarket down there. But the escalators down this place here is a cafe that's open early in the mornings where you can get breakfast, and this is the railway station, so it is very, very convenient. And so that's the lift over there to the hotel. So the entrance from the shopping centre and the railway station is just over there. So the railway station is just there. There's escalators down, and that takes you down to here where there's a public entrance, and this is the problem I think with this place. That's a public lift that brings you up to level 3, and that's the lift I've had to give way to drunks and shady characters of the night. And I'm not sure whether the doors are locked somehow and on code, but people find a way to get them open, so the outer doors are just bust open on an evening. And this here seems to be the dumping ground for any kind of trash that people want to throw from this balcony. But it is handy for a supermarket. There's one just outside the door. So yeah, so there you go. Onwards.